Aaron sat near the window in his classroom, watching the morning sun shine across the schoolyard. It was a normal day, or at least it seemed that way. The bell rang, and the teacher entered with someone new walking quietly behind. The class fell silent, eyes turning toward the stranger. "This is Raul," the teacher said with a welcoming tone. "He will be joining us from today. Please make him feel comfortable." Raul gave a small nod. He was tall but not in a way that made him stand out too much. His skin had a faint pale tone that looked different under the light. His hair was short and straight, almost too neat, as if it had been carefully arranged. His eyes were sharp, moving quickly as if scanning every detail of the room. He carried no heavy bag, just a thin satchel, which seemed strange compared to the other students who always had books and supplies. The teacher pointed to the empty seat beside Aaron. Raul walked there without hesitation, moving in a calm and steady way. He sat down, his posture straight, hands resting on the desk in a practiced manner. Aaron tried to smile at him. "Hi, I am Aaron," he whispered. Raul turned his head slightly and replied, "Hello." His voice was smooth, almost too even, without the normal rise and fall of tone. It was polite but distant, as if he had practiced greetings many times before. The lessons continued, yet Aaron could not stop glancing at Raul. Something about him was unusual. When the teacher asked questions, Raul answered with perfect accuracy, but his words sounded formal, not like a normal student. During writing tasks, Aaron noticed that Raul held the pen in a strange grip, writing with slow precision. It was as if he was imitating what others had shown him, not something natural. At lunch break, students gathered in groups as always. Some invited Raul to join, but he quietly refused, saying he was not hungry. He stayed near the classroom window, watching the sky instead of eating. Aaron found this odd. No one ever skipped food at this school, especially when the cafeteria served fresh bread that day. Curiosity pulled Aaron closer. "Do you not like the food?" he asked. Raul looked at him for a long second before replying. "I am fine. I do not require it now." The answer confused Aaron, but he did not push further. There was something about the way Raul spoke, careful and measured, as though every word was chosen with purpose. Later in the day, during sports practice, the class went to the field. Raul joined them but seemed unfamiliar with the rules. When the teacher asked the students to run laps, Raul ran faster than anyone, his strides long and steady. He did not even look tired at the end. Some classmates clapped, impressed, but others whispered that it was strange. Raul only gave a small nod and stood silently, not boasting about his speed. Aaron felt a spark of curiosity grow inside him. Who exactly was Raul? He was polite, smart, and fast, but also distant and quiet. That evening, as students left for home, Aaron noticed Raul walking alone. Something about his steps caught his attention. It was not just walking, it was controlled, almost too balanced. Aaron wondered if Raul had trained himself to move that way. The next day, Aaron sat beside Raul again. He tried to start a conversation during class breaks. "Where are you from?" Aaron asked. Raul paused before answering. "Far from here. A place you would not know." Aaron tilted his head. "Maybe I will know. Tell me." Raul gave the faintest smile, but it vanished quickly. "It is not important. I am here now." The mysterious reply only deepened Aaron's interest. Throughout the week, more small details stood out. Raul never seemed tired, no matter how much work the teacher gave. He avoided direct touch with others, pulling back slightly if someone brushed against him. He always carried a small notebook, filled with strange symbols that did not match any known language. One afternoon, during a group project, Aaron was paired with Raul. They had to research and write together. Aaron noticed how Raul handled books carefully, flipping pages with slow attention as if every word was new to him. When Aaron suggested they meet at his home to finish the project, Raoul hesitated for a long moment before agreeing. His eyes narrowed slightly, as if measuring the risk. That night, Aaron thought about it. Why did Raoul act like this? Why did he avoid food? Why did he speak in such a formal tone? Why did he hesitate when asked simple things? Most students would talk about their hometowns, their families, or their favorite things. But Raoul kept everything hidden. Despite the mystery, Aaron felt no fear. Instead, he felt a strange pull to know more. Raoul was different, yes, but there was no unkindness in him. In fact, he seemed careful not to cause trouble for anyone. The next day, when the teacher mentioned another group project, some students groaned, but Aaron smiled. This was his chance to learn more about Raoul. He leaned over and said, "Do you want to work together again?" Raoul looked at him, his eyes unreadable. Then he gave a slow nod. "Yes. I think that would be good." For Aaron, that small agreement felt like the first step into something larger. He did not know what, but he sensed that Raoul's presence in his life would not be ordinary. As the classroom filled with noise and laughter, Raoul remained quiet, yet he glanced at Aaron once with a look that almost seemed thoughtful, as if he too was measuring the path ahead. The strange new student had entered Aaron's world, and though neither of them knew it yet, this was only the beginning of a story that would stretch far beyond the walls of their school. The school day felt longer than usual. Aaron sat in class, waiting for the final bell, but his mind kept drifting to Raoul. Ever since the new student had joined, nothing felt ordinary. Raoul's quiet ways, his distant tone, and his unusual habits had placed a question inside Aaron's heart that grew each day. Who was Raoul really, and why did he act so different? When the bell finally rang, students rushed out, their voices filling the hallways. Aaron walked slower, carrying his books under his arm. Raoul followed, moving at the same calm pace as always. His steps were steady, his face unreadable. It almost looked like he was marching with invisible discipline. Aaron glanced at him. "Raoul, do you have time today? We should work on our project together." Raoul hesitated. His eyes flickered as though he was weighing the request. "Where?" he asked. "At my home," Aaron said. "It is not far. We can finish the research faster if we work there." Raoul stopped for a moment in the middle of the hall. The noise of other students passed around them, but he seemed lost in thought. Finally, he nodded. "Yes. I will come." The answer made Aaron smile. "Good. Follow me after school." That afternoon, Aaron led the way through quiet streets toward his house. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange and gold. Raoul walked beside him, silent but alert. His eyes scanned buildings, people, and even the passing cars. Aaron noticed this and asked, "Do you always look around like that?" Raoul paused before replying. "It is a habit. I must be aware of my surroundings." Aaron laughed lightly. "You sound like a soldier." Raoul gave no reply. He only kept walking. When they reached Aaron's home, a modest two-story building with small trees in front, Aaron opened the door and motioned for Raoul to step inside. Raoul paused at the threshold. His eyes darted across the doorway as if measuring it. He stepped in slowly, his movements careful, almost ceremonial. Aaron led him to his room upstairs. It was a simple space filled with books, a desk with scattered papers, and a small lamp near the bed. Posters of planets and rockets covered the walls. Aaron had always been fascinated with space, though he never told many people about it. Raoul stepped into the room and stopped suddenly. His body stiffened, his eyes locked on Aaron. For a brief moment, he looked frozen, as if something inside the room had shocked him. Aaron blinked in confusion. "What is wrong?" Raoul said nothing. His gaze stayed fixed, not on the books or the posters, but on Aaron himself. It was as if seeing him here, in his own personal space, had triggered something. His hands tightened at his sides, and his breathing slowed. Aaron frowned. Is everything okay? Raoul forced himself to blink and finally replied, yes. I am fine. But Aaron did not believe him. The way Raoul had frozen told a different story. Still, he did not push. Instead, he set his books on the desk. Come, let us start. We have to finish this part before tomorrow. Raoul stepped forward carefully, as if trying to hide whatever he had just felt. He sat at the desk, his posture straight as always. Aaron opened the project notebook and began to write. Raoul watched, his eyes sharp and focused. As they worked, Aaron noticed that Raoul read every word with extreme care. He corrected small details that others would not even notice. He asked questions that sounded deeper than the project required. For example, when Aaron wrote about human inventions, Raoul asked, why do humans build tools even when their hands can already do many things? Aaron shrugged. Because tools make life easier. With tools, we can build faster, reach farther, and survive better. Raoul nodded slowly, as if recording the answer in his mind. Interesting, he murmured. Hours passed. The room grew darker as the sun went down. Aaron lit the small lamp on his desk. Raoul studied the glow of the lamp for a long moment, as though fascinated by such a simple object. Do you not have lamps where you are from? Aaron asked, half joking. Raoul glanced at him. Not like this, he replied softly. The words caught Aaron's attention. He leaned back in his chair. You really are different, Raoul. I cannot figure you out. You avoid food, you do not talk about home, and you act like you are always watching everything. Sometimes I think you are not like us at all. Raoul froze again, though only for a second this time. His eyes met Aaron's, steady and calm, but with something hidden deep inside. Perhaps I am simply careful, he said. Aaron smiled faintly. Maybe. But you are still my partner for this project. That makes you my friend, too. For the first time since Aaron had met him, Raoul's expression softened. It was not a full smile, but something close. Friend, he repeated, as if testing the word. They worked a little longer, then Aaron leaned back and stretched. We did well today. We should meet again tomorrow. Raoul stood slowly. Yes. Tomorrow. When it was time to leave, Aaron walked him to the door. The night air was cool, and the street was quiet. Raoul paused before stepping out. Thank you for inviting me, he said. Aaron nodded. Anytime. You are welcome here. Raoul gave him one last look, then walked away, his figure fading into the night. Aaron stood at the doorway, watching him until he disappeared. He felt something stir inside, a mix of curiosity and wonder. What was Raoul hiding? Why had he frozen when he entered the room? The questions filled Aaron's mind, but he also felt a strange excitement. Something told him that Raoul's presence would change his life in ways he could not yet imagine. Inside his room, the lamp still glowed warmly on the desk. Aaron looked at the books, the papers, and the posters of distant stars. He whispered to himself, friend. The word felt heavy, almost sacred. Little did he know, the invitation he had given today was the first step toward uncovering a truth far greater than a school project. The next day felt normal on the surface, but Aaron's mind was far from calm. He kept thinking about how Raoul had acted when he entered the room yesterday. That sudden pause, the stiff posture, the way his eyes locked on him as if he had seen something shocking. Aaron could not forget it. He told himself it was probably nothing, yet curiosity burned stronger with each passing hour. When school ended, Aaron caught up with Raoul outside. Do you want to continue the project today? He asked. Raoul looked at him quietly, his eyes steady as always. After a pause, he gave a nod. Yes. We should finish it soon. The two walked together again. The street was filled with students, shopkeepers, and the normal sounds of evening life, but Aaron kept stealing glances at Raoul. His movements were smooth, too smooth, like a trained machine. Even his breathing was controlled. Aaron wondered if Raoul ever allowed himself to relax. When they reached the house, Aaron pushed open the door and motioned for Raoul to follow. Just like before, Raoul paused at the threshold, scanning the inside carefully before stepping in. They went upstairs to Aaron's room. This time, Aaron watched Raoul closely. As soon as Raoul entered the room, it happened again. His body stiffened, his eyes fixed on Aaron, and his face froze in shock. For a few long seconds, he did not move, did not blink. It was as if he had walked into something unexpected, something unbelievable. Aaron felt his heart pound. "Raoul," he said carefully. "What is it? Why do you freeze like that every time you come in here?" Raoul finally blinked, his expression softening slightly, but the tension in his shoulders remained. "It is nothing," he replied in a low voice. Aaron stepped closer. "It is not nothing. Yesterday you did the same thing. You walk into my room, and you look at me like I am someone else. Tell me what is going on." Raoul lowered his gaze, silent for a long moment. Then he looked up, his sharp eyes meeting Aaron's. "I did not expect this," he said quietly. "Expect what?" Aaron asked. Raoul hesitated, choosing his words with care. "I did not expect you to look this way. I did not expect the room to feel like this. It is difficult to explain." Aaron crossed his arms. "Try. Because right now you are making no sense." Raoul's lips pressed together. For a moment, it seemed like he would refuse to answer. But then he sighed, his voice steady but softer than usual. "Where I come from, humans are not seen closely. We are told stories. We are shown pictures, but never real ones. They say humans are dangerous, unpredictable, and filled with wild energy. They say your eyes carry a spark that can unsettle anyone who looks too long. I did not believe it until now." Aaron froze. The words sounded unreal. "Wait. What do you mean where you come from? Are you saying you are not from here?" Raoul did not reply immediately. He looked at Aaron with an expression caught between caution and honesty. "You are sharp," he said finally. "Yes, I am not from here. I am not like the others around you." Aaron felt his breath catch. A dozen questions flooded his mind. He wanted to laugh, to call it a joke, but something in Raoul's tone stopped him. It was too serious, too steady to be a lie. "You are saying you are an alien?" Aaron whispered. Raoul's eyes did not waver. "Yes." The room fell silent. The small lamp on the desk hummed faintly, the only sound in the air. Aaron stared at Raoul, trying to see him differently now. He thought back to the strange grip on the pen, the refusal to eat, the flawless running, the constant scanning of surroundings. It all suddenly made sense. Aaron sat down heavily on his chair. "So you froze because of me? Because I am human?" Raoul gave a slow nod. "Yes. When I saw you here in your own place, I felt the truth of the stories. Your spark was clear. It caught me off guard. I did not know how strong it would be." Aaron tilted his head. "Spark? What does that mean?" Raoul's eyes narrowed slightly, as if searching for the right words. "It is what makes humans feared among my people. You are fragile compared to many species. Your bodies are weaker, your worlds are smaller, yet you keep surviving. You adapt, you create, you push forward even when the odds are against you. That force, that spirit, we call it the spark. When I saw you in this room, surrounded by your books and your stars, I felt it clearly." Aaron's heart raced. He never thought of himself as special. He was just a student with a small room and a love for space posters. But hearing Raoul say this, hearing that humans were feared for something invisible inside them, sent a chill down his spine. "Why tell me this?" Aaron asked. Raoul looked away for a moment, then back at him. "Because you asked. And because you trusted me enough to invite me here. I do not want to lie to you." Aaron studied him carefully. There was no trick in Raoul's face, no smile hiding a joke. He was serious. Completely serious. "Does anyone else know?" Aaron asked. "No," Raoul replied firmly. "If they did, I would not be here. My people would not allow it." Aaron leaned back, trying to breathe steadily. His life had been ordinary until Raoul appeared. Now, in just a few days, everything had changed. He was sitting in his room, talking to someone from another world. Raoul stood silently, waiting for his response. Finally, Aaron said, "You are right. I did ask. And I guess I believe you. But this is a lot." Raoul nodded slowly. "It is. I understand if you do not wish to see me again." Aaron shook his head quickly. "No, I do want to see you again. You are strange, but you are not dangerous. At least, not to me. If anything, I think this is the most important thing that has ever happened to me." Raoul's eyes softened again. "Then I am glad." The tension in the room lifted slightly, though the weight of the revelation remained. Aaron knew nothing would be the same from now on. Raoul was not just a new student, not just a mysterious boy with odd habits. He was proof that humans were not alone. And for some reason, he had chosen to reveal this to Aaron. As the night deepened outside, Aaron felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. The frozen moment had broken a barrier between them. Secrets had been revealed, and the path ahead was uncertain. But one thing was clear. Aaron's life was no longer ordinary. The next morning, Aaron woke with a restless mind. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the memory of Raoul's words echoing again and again. "I am not from here. I am not like the others." No matter how many times Aaron repeated it to himself, it still felt unreal. Raoul, the quiet student who sat beside him in class, was from another world. At school, Aaron looked at Raoul with new eyes. Every detail stood out sharper than before. The way Raoul held his pen, the way his eyes scanned the room, the way he sat perfectly straight. Now Aaron understood why. Raoul was not pretending to be unusual. He was trying to blend in, to hide what he truly was. During break, Aaron leaned closer to whisper. "We need to talk after class." Raoul's head turned slightly, his sharp gaze landing on Aaron. He gave a short nod. "Yes. After class." The lessons dragged on, and Aaron's thoughts barely touched the pages of his notebook. When the final bell rang, he grabbed his bag and followed Raoul outside. They walked together in silence until they reached a quiet corner of the park near the school. The trees swayed gently in the wind, and the sound of children playing in the distance faded to a soft hum. Aaron finally spoke. "Yesterday you said you are not from here. You said you are not human. I need to know everything, Raoul. Who are you really? Why are you here?" Raoul stood still for a long moment. His hands were folded behind his back, his eyes fixed on the ground. When he looked up, there was no hesitation in his expression. He had decided to answer. "My name is Raoul of the Viari," he said. "That is the name of my people. We live far from here, far beyond your star. For generations, we have watched humans from a distance. We know you exist, but we avoid close contact. We are told that humans are dangerous, that your kind cannot be trusted." Aaron blinked, the words heavy in his mind. "Dangerous? We are just normal. We study, we eat, we live. Why would your people fear us?" Raoul's eyes narrowed slightly, though not in anger, more in thought. "Because you are not like other species. You do not accept limits. When something blocks your path, you break it. When something cannot be done, you find a way." Other species adapt by avoiding conflict. Humans adapt by confronting it. That is what my people fear. Aaron felt both pride and unease at the description. He never thought of humans that way. To him, life was just about surviving each day, completing homework, and dreaming about space. But to Ral's people, humans were something powerful enough to be feared. So why are you here? Aaron asked. Why come to Earth if your people want to stay away? Ral drew in a slow breath. Because I wanted to see for myself. I did not believe the stories. I asked for permission to study here, and after many refusals, I was allowed. But I had to hide what I am. If anyone knew, it could create trouble for both of us. Aaron's curiosity burned stronger. And when you saw me in my room, that is when you froze. Because you realized the stories were true. Ral gave a slow nod. Yes. The spark I spoke of, the energy in your eyes, it is real. I felt it. It was stronger than I expected. You looked ordinary, surrounded by books and posters, yet there was something in the way you looked at me, something that held determination. That is what unsettled me. Aaron shook his head in disbelief. I never thought I was special. I am just another student. Perhaps to yourself, Ral said quietly, but not to those who watch from the outside. Humans are special in ways they do not see. That is why I came, to understand if the fear is truth or exaggeration. The park grew quieter as the sun lowered in the sky. Aaron sat on a bench, trying to take in every word. So now you know. What will you do? Will you report back to your people that the stories are true? Ral sat beside him, his movements precise as always. I have not decided. What I saw in you was not only danger. It was also kindness. You did not push me away when I refused food. You did not laugh at me when I ran too fast. You invited me into your home when I could have stayed apart. These things matter too. They show that humans are not only what my people fear. You are more than one thing. Aaron looked at him thoughtfully. So you froze not just because you saw danger, but because you saw something that did not fit the stories. Yes, Ral said firmly. That is the truth. The two sat quietly for a while, the wind carrying the sound of rustling leaves. For Aaron, the world felt larger than ever before. He was no longer just a boy in a small city. He was a human in the eyes of another species, a symbol of something greater. Finally, Aaron broke the silence. Ral, you trusted me with this secret. I promise I will not tell anyone. Whatever happens, your truth stays safe with me. Ral turned his head slowly, his gaze steady. Why? Why would you keep this for me? Because you are my friend, Aaron said simply. And friends protect each other. For the first time, Ral's expression softened fully. It was not a practiced mask, not a formal nod. It was something real. A faint smile touched his face, a sign of trust slowly forming. You are different from what I expected, Ral said. And so are you, Aaron replied. The two stood up as the sky darkened. They walked together back toward the street, side by side. Neither spoke much, but the silence between them was no longer heavy. It was filled with understanding. For Aaron, the truth had been revealed, and though it shook the ground of his ordinary life, it also gave him a strange pride. If humans were feared across the stars, it meant they carried something powerful inside them. And if Ral could see both the danger and the kindness in humanity, maybe that was the beginning of something greater than fear. As they reached the street where their paths divided, Ral gave a short nod. Until tomorrow. Until tomorrow, Aaron echoed. They parted ways, but Aaron's heart was full. The truth had been revealed, and with it came a bond that neither of them had expected. A bond between a human and an alien, built not on fear, but on trust. The following day at school, Aaron found himself watching Ral more closely than ever. Every movement, every glance, seemed charged with meaning. Raoul walked through the hallways as if he were aware of everything, but not just the school. There was something deeper, something that told Aaron that his classmate carried more than ordinary thoughts. During break, Aaron approached Raoul cautiously. "Are you okay? You seemed tense this morning," he asked. Raoul glanced at him, his eyes flicking to the students around them, then back. "I am fine. Only, careful." "Careful? Of what?" Aaron pressed. Raoul hesitated, and for the first time, Aaron noticed a flicker of worry cross his calm face. "There are things that could happen if others knew who I am. I cannot allow that." Aaron nodded slowly. "I understand. You mean your secret?" "Yes. My people, they are cautious about revealing themselves. If anyone discovers my presence here, it could cause problems for both of us." Aaron felt a shiver run down his spine. "What kind of problems?" Raoul's voice dropped almost to a whisper. "Humans are powerful. I know you do not see it yet. But my people fear that if others knew you up close, it could change the balance between worlds. There are those who would see humans as a threat. Others might seek to control or destroy them." Aaron took a deep breath. The weight of the words sank in. Raoul's calm demeanor had always seemed reassuring, but now he realized that the boy standing beside him had carried fear too. Not the ordinary fear of a student, but a hidden, cautious fear born from knowledge Aaron could barely imagine. "Raoul, do you think I am dangerous?" Aaron asked carefully. Raoul's eyes met his. "Not you alone. Humans, in general, are unpredictable. You can choose kindness or strength in ways other species cannot. That is why you are feared. That is why I am cautious here." Aaron nodded slowly. It was hard to imagine, but somehow, it made sense. Humans were ordinary to themselves but extraordinary to others. They survived in ways that could not always be measured or controlled. Later, during their science project, Aaron noticed that Raoul seemed distracted. His movements were precise, but his eyes kept scanning the room. Aaron leaned over. "Raoul, what is it? You are not focusing on our project." Raoul looked at him for a long moment before answering. "I am aware. Others may notice things I do not want them to see. It is a constant vigilance." Aaron realized that even the smallest mistake could reveal Raoul's secret. Every glance, every action, had meaning. And yet, Raoul chose to be here, to work alongside him. That thought filled Aaron with a mixture of pride and responsibility. As the afternoon passed, Aaron and Raoul sat under a tree in the park to continue their research. Aaron noticed how Raoul's gaze often went beyond the park, as if looking for invisible watchers. "Are you afraid someone will find you?" he asked. Raoul nodded slowly. "Yes. But it is not fear in the way you might think. It is caution. My life, my people, and now even you are connected to this. One wrong move could create misunderstandings. It is not fear for myself alone. It is fear for what could happen to others." Aaron considered this. It was different from the fears he knew. He worried about exams, homework, or failing a test. Raoul worried about the balance between worlds and the hidden consequences of his presence. "Raoul," Aaron said after a pause, "you do not have to be alone in this. I will help. I can keep your secret. You can trust me." Raoul's eyes softened slightly, and for a moment, he allowed himself to relax. "You are different. Humans usually underestimate how careful I am. They do not understand the danger. But you choose to accept it. That's what friends do," Aaron said simply. Raoul looked down, then back up. "Yes. Perhaps that is true. Perhaps friendship is something humans have that my people cannot fully understand. It is a powerful force, yet it is gentle. You have shown me that already." Aaron felt warmth spread through his chest. He realized that Raoul, for all his strength and speed and knowledge, had a vulnerability. And it was a trust that had to be protected carefully. Days passed, and their project continued. Aaron watched Ral in class, noticing how he avoided direct contact with most students. He did not laugh loudly, did not join in games during break, and often retreated to quiet corners. Yet, when he was with Aaron, he seemed calmer, almost human in ways no one else could see. One evening, after school, Aaron invited Ral to his home again. The two worked side by side in Aaron's room, books scattered across the desk. The lamp cast a soft light on Ral's face, revealing features that were almost human, yet subtly different. His skin had a faint shimmer, and his eyes seemed too sharp, too aware. "Ral, can I ask something?" Aaron said cautiously. "Ask," Ral replied. "Are you afraid of me?" Ral looked surprised for a moment. Then he shook his head slowly. "No, I am not afraid of you. It is not you who causes concern. It is the power I perceive in humanity itself. You carry something that can surprise even me. That is what I respect and caution against at the same time." Aaron smiled faintly. "So humans are both dangerous and kind?" Ral gave a slow nod. "Yes. And you have shown me both. That is why I am here with you, despite the risk. I want to understand better, but I must always be cautious. That is the hidden fear I carry." Aaron leaned back in his chair. He felt the weight of responsibility settle on him. Keeping Ral's secret, protecting his presence, and understanding this hidden fear were now part of his life. And he accepted it willingly. As the evening deepened, they packed up their work. Ral stood near the door, his movements precise as always. He looked at Aaron, and this time there was a faint smile. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For what?" Aaron asked. "For understanding the fear I carry. For letting me be here without judgment. You do not know the value of what you offer." Aaron shrugged lightly. "I think I do. Friends are supposed to protect each other. That is enough." Ral nodded, a gesture that carried more meaning than words could express. Then he left, walking through the quiet streets with the same careful steps he always took. Aaron watched until he disappeared from view. The hidden fear Ral carried was now clear to him, and he understood how precious trust could be. It was more than a secret. It was a bond between two beings from completely different worlds. The days that followed Ral's revelation passed quickly. Aaron found that his life had changed in subtle ways. He noticed everything more keenly: the way students moved in the hall, the sounds of the school, and the patterns in human behavior. Everything seemed sharper, almost alive. And Ral, quiet and precise, was always there, observing and learning, while also teaching Aaron lessons that went beyond any school subject. One afternoon, the teacher assigned a group project for the entire class. Students groaned, complaining about the work, but Aaron felt a spark of excitement. This would be another chance to work with Ral and learn more about him. Ral's expression remained calm, as usual. He followed Aaron to the library, silently analyzing the room as they walked. Other students whispered when they saw him, noticing the way he carried himself and the sharpness of his gaze. Some looked curious, some suspicious, but none approached him directly. "Do not worry about what others think," Aaron said quietly as they found a table. "We only need to focus on the project." Ral gave a slow nod. "I am aware. But caution is always necessary. Attention can reveal too much." Aaron understood. Even in a normal school, ordinary things could create unexpected problems. And for Ral, being discovered could mean far more than a few rumors. They began working together, poring over books, notes, and computers. Aaron explained concepts in simple words, while Ral added observations that were precise, insightful, and sometimes surprising. His understanding of patterns, strategies, and logic went far beyond ordinary students. Aaron realized again why Ral's people feared humans. Ral saw the potential humans had and respected it deeply. As the afternoon turned to evening, a group of classmates approached their table. "Hey, what is Raul doing here?" one student asked, his voice tinged with curiosity. "Is he even human?" Aaron felt a sudden tension. He glanced at Raul, who remained calm, but Aaron knew his friend was assessing the situation carefully. "I am just helping with the project," Aaron said firmly. "We do not need to discuss anything else." The students looked skeptical but moved on after a brief pause. Aaron exhaled quietly. "You handled that well," he said to Raul. Raul nodded slightly. "Yes. But it is only a temporary solution. You must remain aware that others notice differences, and curiosity can be dangerous." Aaron looked at his friend and realized how much trust Raul had placed in him. Not everyone could protect this secret. It was a test, in a way a test of loyalty and friendship. The following week, the project continued, and Aaron decided to invite Raul to his home again. This time, the house felt warmer, familiar, and safe. Raul stepped inside, pausing briefly at the door, scanning the room, then walking in without hesitation. Aaron noticed how Raul's eyes softened when he saw the small personal touches in the room: family photos, posters of space, scattered notebooks, and a half-finished model rocket on the desk. "You have a world of your own here," Raul said quietly. "Yes," Aaron replied. "It is my little space. It keeps me grounded." Raul glanced around again, then at Aaron. "It is human qualities like this that show me the other side of your kind. You are both fragile and strong. You are cautious and reckless. That is what makes humans unpredictable." Aaron smiled faintly. "And that is why you are here with me. You want to learn, understand, and maybe, trust me." Raul nodded slowly. "Yes. And I am learning that trust is rare, but it is valuable." They worked on the project for hours. At one point, a loud knock came from the door. Aaron's heart jumped. "I will get it," he said cautiously, moving to the door. Outside stood a classmate who had come to discuss the project. Aaron felt a moment of panic. Raul's eyes flicked toward the door. He did not panic, he only observed. Aaron realized that Raul had been teaching him patience and calm in the face of attention, in the face of possible exposure. "Raul, do not worry," Aaron whispered. "It is just him." Raul's gaze returned to Aaron. "It is never just simple matters. Everything can change the outcome if one is not careful." Aaron understood. He closed the door and continued working. Raul's quiet vigilance was not about fear for himself. It was about the responsibility of being here, being accepted, and protecting what mattered. The test of friendship continued in small ways. Aaron noticed that when they worked together, Raul slowly allowed himself to relax. He shared small insights about his people, small tricks of thinking and understanding that humans did not often see. He explained problem-solving strategies, ways to observe patterns, and how to anticipate actions. Aaron absorbed these lessons quickly, realizing that Raul's guidance was priceless. One evening, after a long session, Aaron asked, "Raul, are you afraid of what might happen if someone discovers your secret?" Raul's eyes darkened briefly. "I am not afraid for myself alone. I fear what may happen to you, and others like you. If my people or others discovered the truth without caution, it could create chaos. That is the hidden fear I carry." Aaron nodded. "Then I will help you. We will protect this secret together. Friends do that." Raul studied him for a long moment. "Yes. That is why I trust you. That is why I am here, despite the risk." Aaron felt a warmth in his chest. Friendship had become a bond stronger than any ordinary connection. It was a test of loyalty, trust, and courage. And Aaron realized that he was ready to face any challenge, any curious student, or unexpected situation, to protect Raul and their shared secret. As night fell, Raul stood by the door, his posture as precise as ever. He looked at Aaron with a faint smile. "You have proven yourself," Not through words alone, but through action. That is the measure of a human friend. Aaron smiled back. And you have proven yourself too, Raoul. That even someone different, from far away, can be trusted, can care, and can teach me things I never imagined. Raoul nodded, then left quietly, his careful steps fading into the darkness. Aaron watched him go, feeling the weight of responsibility and the warmth of friendship intertwined. The test of friendship had begun, and both had passed it in their own way. But Aaron knew this was only the beginning. Challenges would come, curiosity from others would grow, and decisions would have to be made. Yet, with trust and understanding, he believed they could face anything together. The weeks passed quickly, and Aaron felt his world growing larger than ever. The presence of Raoul, quiet, precise, and observant, had changed the rhythm of his life. Ordinary school days now held the weight of secrets, trust, and lessons beyond anything he had known. Every glance, every word, every shared project reminded him that friendship could carry more meaning than he had ever imagined. One evening, after a long day at school, Aaron found Raoul waiting outside the gate. The sun was setting, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. Raoul's sharp eyes softened as he approached. "Raoul, are you ready for our project session?" Aaron asked. Raoul nodded slowly. "Yes. But tonight we should speak of something else. Something important." Aaron felt a flutter of curiosity. "What do you mean?" Raoul glanced around, ensuring they were alone, then spoke quietly. "Soon, I must return to my people. I have learned what I came to see, and my time here will be reported. My presence here is no longer required. But before I go, there is something I must tell you about humanity, and about what you have shown me." Aaron's chest tightened. The thought of Raoul leaving made him feel uneasy, but he stayed quiet, letting Raoul continue. "When I first arrived," Raoul began, "I believed the stories my people told me. Humans are unpredictable. Humans are dangerous. Humans are filled with a spark that cannot be controlled. I expected to find aggression, selfishness, and chaos. But what I found was different. I found kindness, determination, and a spirit that refuses to break even in the smallest ways." Aaron listened carefully, realizing that every word carried the weight of truth. "You mean, you changed your mind?" he asked. "Yes," Raoul said firmly. "But it is more than that. You have shown me that humanity is more than the sum of fears. You have shown me courage and simplicity. You have shown me loyalty, trust, and friendship. These are qualities my people do not fully understand, yet they are powerful. They are what make humans special." Aaron felt warmth spread through him. He had never imagined that his ordinary life, his simple actions, and his quiet friendship could carry such meaning. Raoul paused and looked at him closely. "Your spark is strong. It is a force that can inspire, protect, and create. My people fear it because they cannot predict it. But you, Aaron, have shown me the other side of humanity. You have shown me that your kind can choose not only power, but compassion." Aaron swallowed hard. "Raoul, you mean all of this is because of me?" Raoul's eyes softened. "Not just you. You are one example, one reflection of what humans can be. But you have been my teacher. You have taught me patience, trust, and hope. These are lessons that will travel with me when I return home." The thought that Raoul would leave filled Aaron with a quiet sadness. "Will you come back?" he asked. Raoul gave a faint smile. "Perhaps. But I must report what I have learned first. And then, time will decide." They walked together toward the quiet park near the edge of the school grounds. The sky darkened, stars beginning to appear one by one. Aaron stopped and pointed upward. "See those stars? I used to look at them and dream. Now, with you here, it feels like the universe is not so far away. Like we are part of something bigger." Raoul's gaze followed the stars. "Yes. That is what I have realized. Humans are small, yet their reach is far. You may not know your true strength, but I do. Your kind carries something rare, something my people both fear and admire. Aaron thought about everything that had happened since Ral arrived. The frozen moments, the shared projects, the whispered secrets, and the quiet understanding between them. Ral, you taught me too. You taught me to see carefully, to think clearly, and to trust. Ral nodded. Then we have both learned. And that is the mark of connection between our worlds. One day, perhaps others will learn the same. But for now, I must carry this knowledge with me. They stood in silence for a moment, the soft wind rustling leaves around them. Aaron felt a mixture of pride, awe, and sadness. He had never imagined that friendship could stretch across worlds, that one person could change the way another saw humanity. Finally, Ral spoke again. Aaron, remember this. Humans are special. Not because of strength alone, not because of weapons or machines, but because of spirit, courage, and choice. You have shown me that life is not only about surviving, but about living with heart. That is the mark humanity leaves wherever it goes. Aaron nodded slowly, understanding the gravity of the words. I will remember, he said. And I will try to be worthy of what you saw in me. Ral gave a faint nod, then turned toward the street. His movements were precise, careful, yet calm. As he walked away, Aaron felt a strange emptiness, but also a deep sense of hope. He knew that even if Ral left, the lessons he had learned and the trust they had shared would stay with him forever. The next day at school, the hallways felt quieter without Ral's presence. Students whispered, noticing his absence, but Aaron kept the secret they had shared. It was not just a matter of hiding truth, it was about protecting a bond that went beyond ordinary friendship. As days turned into weeks, Aaron returned to his projects, his studies, and his quiet life. But everything felt different. He noticed patterns in human behavior more clearly. He saw courage in small acts, kindness in simple gestures, and the hidden spark in every person he met. He realized that Ral had not only taught him about alien worlds and observation, but about the strength of humanity itself. The spark Ral had spoken of was not limited to him, it was in every human, waiting to be seen, nurtured, and shared. One evening, Aaron sat at his desk, gazing at the same posters of planets and stars he had before. But now, they felt alive, as if they were reminders of a greater purpose. He whispered softly to himself, we are stronger than we know. And we are capable of more than we think. He felt a quiet smile grow. Somewhere across the stars, Ral was carrying the same message, spreading the story of humanity's spark to a world that feared it. And one day, perhaps, that spark would reach others, teaching them what humans could achieve not just with strength, but with heart. Aaron leaned back, feeling the weight of knowledge and friendship. He knew that life would continue, challenges would come, and new mysteries would appear. But the bond he had shared with Ral, the lessons of trust, courage, and choice, would guide him always. In that moment, Aaron realized that humanity's mark was not only in the stars or in achievements, but in the connections they made, the lives they touched, and the choices they carried in their hearts.